everyone, it's CL. So I do have a little bit of a confession that when it comes to books, I have not finished a book cover to cover for probably 3 years. I would estimate approximately 3 years. And my relationship with books has changed kind of drastically and not necessarily for the better. So a few years ago, I was very much a part of the booktube community and I would participate in readathons and I would always have like book hauls, and that is no longer the case. And I think there's a couple reasons behind that. Is that I've been like in a constant state of anxiety, and I feel like if I'm not doing something productive every minute of the day, that I'm falling behind in life. And I think also I have shifted from reading fiction to like textbooks. Like I do have a goal to where I want to change industries from finance to like the tech industry. So when I do read, it kind of shifts towards like textbooks and self-learning. So books that aren't necessarily fun to read, but you have to read and study and learn to build up your skill set in a certain area, right? And another way where my relationship with books has changed is that for a very, very long time, I've always wanted a huge library. And my mindset has shifted to the point where when I do purchase books, and lately it's been more like textbook style books, I've been purchasing them digitally. And when I do acquire books, because I did try to get back into reading and I ended up not reading much, so I didn't hang on to those books. Under normal circumstances, I would hang on to those books and save them for a later time. But then I reached a point to where I realized I wasn't going to read these books. Like I kept putting it off, and it didn't seem like I was going to make time for them anytime soon. So I resold them to get some of my money back. And normally I would hang on to these books because I wanted them to be part of my future library. And I think my mindset might change in the future when I have more of a larger space. But I guess my overall mindset is just a lot of guilt. Like I feel guilty hanging on to books that I'm not reading. I feel guilty if I just have extra clutter that I don't need in my home. I feel guilty if I take time to read books because I should be doing more things. I feel guilty if I'm taking time to read like fiction because I feel like I need to do something productive. Like if I'm going to read, then it better be that textbook I'm studying as opposed to like a fiction book that I'm not building any skill sets. I'm just reading for pleasure. And even when it comes to booktube, over the past couple of years, I have not even barely poked my head into the booktube community. Just recently I poked around just to see what's out there, and there's a lot of people that I just don't recognize these people. Like, who are these people? There's always drama in the booktube community. I'm out of touch with whatever drama's going on. Do people still do readathons? What kind of books are like popular? What are people reading? Like, I feel so out of touch. And I think it all falls back to my mindset over the past couple years because I've been so anxious and feel so guilty when I'm not doing something I consider to be productive. And just recently, as you know, I've decided to pick up my hobbies again, pick up things that I enjoy, which is why I started filming for YouTube again. And I also want to incorporate reading fiction into my life again. Like, I don't know how many times I have to say this, and I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but I'm a very anxious person. And I know that when I do make time to read, my anxiety goes down so drastically because especially when I'm immersed in a book, I just don't think about anything else. And that's what my anxiety is me constantly thinking about all these things I have to do, all these scenarios of what if that haven't even come up yet, and all these things way in the future that I shouldn't be worrying about, but I worry about. When I make time to read and I'm immersed in a book, my anxiety goes down because it forces me not to think about anything else but the storyline that is happening in the book. So this is why I'm trying to like make time for reading again. And a part of me still feels a little bit guilty, but then I'm trying to remind myself that even if I just read 10 minutes a day, it's okay. Like, that's nothing to feel guilty about. 10 minutes a day is not a big deal. So today I went to Barnes & Noble and picked out a couple books, and Barnes & Noble is still my favorite place to go. I just like the atmosphere. I like stopping by the cafe afterwards and getting like a cupcake and getting a latte. And I came away with 2 books that I'm going to try to read. I'm going to take baby steps when it comes to reading again, and that I'm going to limit it to at least 10 minutes a day to try to read a book for fun and not feel guilty about it. So I picked a couple books, and the first one I picked is this one called The Girl from Shadow Springs. And then I picked this one here called Broken Wish. I think this is a book about like a family curse, and I don't know, when I read the synopsis in the bookstore, it seemed interesting. It seemed like something that might grab my attention. So that's where I'm starting. 10 minutes a day I will devote to reading fiction. And then of course I will still read my textbook, because that's like an ongoing self-learning, self-study, building my skill set. I will continue to read my textbook for at least an hour a day, because that's something that's important to me, and I'm trying to build up my skill set in the tech industry. So an hour a day on self-study and a minimum of 10 minutes a day on fiction, which means that if I do 10 minutes a day, it might take me a month to finish this book. And I think that's something that's okay. I am going to miss readathons. Like, I don't even know what readathons are happening right now. I'm going to miss them, but I know that if I tried to participate in a readathon, especially right now, I would fail. And I'm just trying to ease myself back into incorporating reading back into my life. So yeah, at this point in time, my relationship with books has changed, but I can't necessarily say it was for the better. Curious to find out, like, if I continue this month and I am successful in finishing one book. All I know is that when I used to read and would be able to be immersed in a story, it just put me in a good mood. It made me happy. I was less anxious, at least in the moment. It was easy to put reading on the back burner, but I can't necessarily say that that was a good thing as far as like self-care, my mental health. I essentially put my interests and hobbies on the back burner, which is not necessarily a good thing. So let's go ahead and take baby steps. If you're reading something this month, please leave it down below what you're reading, but I'll keep you all updated on how it goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and update my bullet journal to do like a little bit of a reading log, 10 minutes a day, just so I can keep track on how I'm doing. And I might journal a little bit to see if like making time for my interests again, such as reading, such as filming, if it makes a difference in my mindset. I'm thinking it will, but that's all dependent if I stick to it and don't get overly anxious and put things on back burner again. Yeah, but I rambled enough, so I will keep you updated on how things go and whether or not I enjoy these books. So that's it for now. If you'd like to support the channel, please give me a like, subscribe, check out the links below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you later.